They say, in the darkness of space, reputation is everything. But what happens when that reputation isn't earned in battle? What if the most feared weapon in the galaxy had no weapons at all? This is the story of the day 200 warships surrendered to a ghost. Deep in the engineering bay of an Imperial warship, two engineers stared at their screens. Something was wrong. The prediction system had flagged something. Impossible. Zanab insisted it was a software glitch. The sensors were fine. Everything was normal. But Vlig, he wasn't convinced. He ran the data through 3 different systems, 3 independent analysis suites. All 3 said the same thing. Human ships and Ab demanded more tests. Maybe it was debris, wreckage from some ancient battle. But the data was clear. Constant velocity, straight trajectory, active power signatures, and that threading in the superstructure, unknown composition. A signature humanity had kept secret for centuries. The 2 engineers stared at each other, horror dawning in their eyes. It's a human ship. They had a choice to make. Report it to the Admiral. A man known for violent solutions. A man who would order them to fight humanity, which was suicide. So they made a different choice. They bypassed the chain of command and contacted the diplomatic team directly. In the diplomatic quarters, 3 officials lounged in heated pools and argued over profit. They were discussing how to divide the spoils of their upcoming victory. The conquest of the Krazak homeworld. It was certain, inevitable. The Krazak were outmatched. Inferior weapons, inferior numbers. This wasn't even a war. It was target practice. And then the screen activated. 2 faces appeared, engineers, grease-stained, desperate. The diplomats were outraged. This was a security breach, treason. But the engineers were shouting, begging them to listen. Just one moment. Just listen. There's a human ship in the system. Azara's wine glass slipped from her fingers and shattered on the deck. No one noticed. The engineers explained. Multiple confirmations. Direct intercept course. 16 hours until contact. But here's what terrified them most. The ship was moving slowly. Deliberately. Slowly. Human ships were supposed to be fast. Faster than anything in the galaxy. So why was this one taking its time? Azara understood first. Psychological warfare. If humanity wanted to strike, they could have attacked before anyone knew they were there. They could have jumped in, destroyed the fleet, and vanished. Instead, they announced their presence, gave the Empire time to detect them, time to verify what they were, time to be afraid. They were demonstrating power, showing that they didn't need surprise, didn't need any tactical advantage. They were so confident that preparation wouldn't matter. 16 hours of knowing they were coming. 16 hours to panic. On the bridge, Admiral Heratab stood like a statue. They called him the Unstoppable Fist. 6 successful campaigns, 6 conquered species. He had never retreated, never surrendered, never even considered defeat, until now. When the confirmation came through, the bridge erupted. Officers abandoned their posts. Some were crying, others frantically calculating survival odds, and finding none. Then Commander Tilric, a man who had served with the Admiral for 15 years, did something unthinkable. He walked to the command platform and dropped to his knees. "Sir," he said, "please don't engage. I beg you." The entire bridge held its breath. And then Admiral Heratab spoke. "All ships, this is Admiral Heratab. We have confirmed the presence of a human vessel. As of this moment, all offensive operations are suspended. We are surrendering," the Admiral continued. "If this were any other enemy, I would order you to fight. But this is humanity. Fighting them is suicide. There is no chance, not even a statistical possibility, of victory against a human warship. Our reputation will survive surrender. Survival is victory." In the Imperial Palace, the Emperor and Empress sat on crystal thrones. They were reviewing reports, routine matters. When the doors burst open, a servant came running, something that never happened. His robes hiked up, nearly tripping. He threw himself down, gasping. "Your Majesties, the invasion fleet, Admiral Heratab." He surrendered to a human ship without firing a single shot. The Emperor set down his tablet carefully. Admiral Heratab, the unstoppable fist, surrendered to a single ship. The Empress spoke. Given that it was a human ship, the Admiral's decision was probably the only rational one. They discussed the implications. Embarrassing, yes, but survivable. But the servant wasn't finished. Your Majesties, there's more, he explained. After hours of waiting, the Admiral had grown impatient. He'd opened a channel, demanded to know if the Empire had surrendered properly, and humanity responded. Your Majesty, the human ship did not respond because there was no one. On the human ship, the vessel detected by the Imperial fleet was a derelict, an abandoned exploration ship from the early days of human space travel, adrift for 70 years, running on automatic systems, following its last programmed course. No crew, no weapons, no awareness of anything happening around it. 200 warships, 15,000 soldiers, the most aggressive admiral in Imperial history, surrendered to an empty ship. A ghost. The Emperor acted quickly. He contacted humanity, offered credits, technology, the return of their historical vessel. In exchange for one simple favor, pretend there actually was a crewed warship in that system. According to reports, the human ambassador laughed for 7 minutes straight, so hard she required medical attention. But in the end, humanity agreed. 1 week later, a modern human warship appeared in the Krazak system. It remained for exactly 6 hours, long enough to be detected by multiple observers. And then it departed, with the derelict in tow. The human government issued a statement. They confirmed they had been monitoring the situation. They confirmed the Imperial surrender had been directed toward their active military vessel. They appreciated the Empire's wisdom in choosing peace. The statement neglected to mention the 70-year drift. It neglected to mention that the modern ship only appeared because humanity found the whole situation hilarious. And so it was recorded in the histories of multiple species. The day the Galactic Empire surrendered to a single human warship. But what the histories didn't record, what they carefully omitted, what they would never remember, was that the human warship in question didn't have a crew, didn't have weapons, didn't even have anyone aboard to notice the panic it had caused. Just a piece of metal, drifting through the void, carrying with it the immense weight of humanity's reputation and the entire galaxy's fear. And sometimes that was enough.